Hello, how are you? Welcome to Santuário Lunar. In this video I'm going to teach you all you need to know about the elementals and the elements because they are the basis of our world and the basis of traditional Western magic. You are going to learn what they are, how to recognize them, and how to work them magically. So let's start with a historical view. We have magical knowledge and magical studies for thousands and thousands of years, but during the medieval times these studies were intensified with philosophia occulta or occult philosophy, alchemy, and also other branches of occult studies. And all of them, they have something in common and they share this information. The four elements are the basis of our world, of our realm, of our reality. These four elements, earth, air, water and fire, they correspond to everything we can interact with. And they are symbolized by the pentagram, as I explained in my video. What is the pentagram? If you haven't watched, please watch. And so, when we have this basis, we actually have the microcosmos, all the elements and us. And when we have these elements together, everything together, we have the macrocosmos. And this is a hermetic law, as above, so below. So one corresponds to the other. But what is the microcosmos and the macrocosmos exactly? The microcosmos, represented by the pentagram, is the self, the person, we, humans. And the mind, our spirit on top, over the four elements. This symbolizes that we understand, we recognize their energies, and we can work with them. And the macrocosmos is everything, the universe, all that is beyond us. So when we have all the symbols of the four elements together, we actually have the hexagram, also known as the macrocosmos, the seal of Solomon, or the Star of David. If you want to learn more about these, the hermetic laws, the alchemy and philosophia occulta, I highly recommend you two books. I'm going to show you the Portuguese versions I've got, but of course they exist in English. The Kybalion contains all the hermetic laws, is fundamental, and this one here, it's beautiful. It's simply beautiful. It's called Alchemy and Mysticism, a collection from the Hermetic Museum. So in this book you will find a lot of arts from these studies, and they will represent the microcosmos, the macrocosmos, the creation of the universe according to the alchemists, the sacred geometry, and much more. So do buy these books if you want to learn more about this. And please use my link in the descriptions because this way you support my channel and you'll pay nothing extra for it. Now that we understand that the elements are the basis of our realm, we must understand how to properly work with them because they are everywhere. So let's take the pentagram again. The four elements and the mind, the spirit above them. So when we finally understand what they are and how to properly work with them, we evolve, we transcend, we elevate ourselves, our mind, our spirit. And each one of these elements, they contain specific characteristics. If you want to achieve or develop something, for example, you work with a specific element for this. I'm going to explain this in detail soon, but before we go straight to this, let's understand their symbols. The fire and the air are represented by a triangle, a normal triangle. While fire is just a triangle, the air is a triangle with a stroke inside. And how to remember this? Imagine a flame going up. You can contain this flame, the movement is going up, it's fire. Now for the air, imagine a mountain, and this mountain soars up in the sky. Suddenly you have the wind blowing in this mountain. So you have the air element, a mountain with the wind passing through it. Water and earth, they are represented by an inverse triangle. Water must be contained in a container. So the inverse triangle is actually a container. You can see it as a cup to contain water. And for the earth one is an inverted triangle with the stroke inside. It represents an object, a tree, a plant, or anything stuck into the earth or coming out from it. So the stroke is the soil, and the object is subterranean and above the earth. Easy to remember, huh? I learned this tip of how to recognize the symbols in a book called the Goodly Spell Book, which I highly recommend too. So when we have the 4 symbols of the elements and we put them together as I just mentioned, we have the hexagram, the universe, everything beyond us. Why am I saying this? Because symbols are universal, and just by understanding symbols, we can start working magically with them. So for example, if you want to get a higher connection with Earth, you can draw the Earth symbol in a pentacle and you can wear as a talisman, for example, or you can draw somewhere else where you can always see, because by seeing a symbol we have a communication, we have a full communication with the symbol, and we are already magically working. Now, what do they actually represent? Earth is not simply the earth we can touch. Water is not just the water we can drink. There's more for it. The element earth symbolizes prosperity, material things, work, activities, everything that can be planted and that will grow. In the tarot, the earth is connected to the suit of pentacles or discs or diamonds, it depends on how you call it, and they are related to prosperity, to work. So earth is for everything that is tangible, everything that is solid. The air is related to communication, wisdom, intellect. In the tarot, it's related to the suits of swords, and they are related to the intellect too, and the incisive knowledge. So if you want to work with things related to decisions, creativity, that's the element. Water is related to emotions, intuition, love, balance. In the tarot, it's connected to the suits of cups and all of these. So if you want to work your emotions towards love, towards balance, water is the one. And fire is related to creation, destruction, energy, strength, power, changes. In the tarot, it is related to the suits of staves. So if you want power, energy, protection, strength, that's the element. So the elements are the basis of our world, the energy around us. But these energies, they also have forms. And to these forms we call elementals. And the elementals are gnomes from the earth, the sylphs from the air, the undines from the water, and the salamanders from the fire. So just like the 4 elements, the 4 elementals also have the same characteristics, the same energies. As they are forms, live beings, we can depict them physically. The gnomes of earth, they are like the gnomes we know, like small creatures, humanoid creatures that work all the time and want to organize everything. They live in the nature. So in fallen tree branches, under mushrooms, in plants, gardens, and everywhere where there is green and earth together. The sylphs of the air are like fairies. When we understand and study fairies, we see there are billions of kinds of fairies, and sylphs are one of them. They are happy creatures that fly around on the wind. So they live where there is wind, or everywhere. The Undines of the water are usually depicted as silver beings. They are much like the mermaids we know or the nymphs, and they live in the salt water and fresh water too, as well as in swamps. So where there's water, there are Undines. And the salamanders of fire, they are like small lizards of fire, and they live where there is fire. So volcanoes are perfect for salamanders, but also small flames and other types of fire. So similarly to the elements that we can interact with the energies and work them magically to achieve something, with the elementals we can do this too. And as they are living beings, we can do this by summoning them. So it's a kind of summoning magic, but it's very light and it's very good. So even if you are a beginner, you can work with the elementals. It's a very nice experience. So let's learn now how to summon them and what we can get from it. So let's learn now how to summon the elementals and how to magically work with them. But before I start, there is a very important tip I must give you. Inviting the elementals to your house is like inviting a person to your house. So if you make an invitation and the house is disorganized, physically and energetically, the person won't feel good inside. So keep this in mind. When you want to invite the elementals, when you want to summon them, make a good environment for them. Keep everything organized, don't create problems, shouting, arguments and other bad things. It must be a nice environment for them. So let's see how to summon each one of them and what can they bring or take. The gnomes of the earth, as they live in nature, they live in the earth, the best way to invite them to your house is by having a garden or plants, natural plants. Please don't use fake plants and try to call them. This one is a fake plant, but I have natural plants too. So when we have a space, even if you live in an apartment, you can have a small space for plants, for a small garden. And when you take care of this garden, you make the invitation. You automatically invite gnomes for your house. And when they see that you are taking care of their new house, they will help you with house chores, giving you energy to solve things, making you work less and get more, be more prosperous and get more money. That's what they like. But if you invite them and you forget the garden, you don't take care of the garden, they won't feel comfortable. And they cause some kind of mischief before going away. And these kinds of mischief are dropping objects, making noises, hiding personal things, like a poltergeist. So do take care of your plants and your garden. The sylphs of the air, they love everything that interacts with the wind or with them. So you can have different kinds of objects that you can hang that will move with the wind. And the one I like the most is the wind chime, and I have a lot of wind chimes. So if you offer wind chimes, they automatically come to play with it. And when you notice that your wind chimes are making a song and suddenly there's no wind, or just where the wind chimes are, there's wind, sylphs are around and they are trying to give you a message, or they are just trying to thank you. And they work with the intellect, as I said, the element wind. They work with the intellect, with the mind, so they help you to think clearly. They help you with creativity process. They help you to make good decisions. But if you don't take care of the wind chimes or the objects you offer them, there's a bad effect. They won't feel comfortable. So instead of helping you, they may take this help away, so you can feel some creative blockages, you can have some confusing ideas, unable to make good decisions and important decisions. So, as I said for the gnomes of the earth, take care of the objects, take care of their house. The Undines of the water, as they live in the sea, in the rivers, lakes or swamps, Of course, you are not going to create a swamp inside your house. Please don't. And you're not going to pass a river through your living room either. So what can you do to attract the undines? The best way is to have a fountain working and clean. Just by having this water in the fountain, you automatically invite undines for this new house of them. And when they come, they bring the properties of water and more. So they help you to balance your emotions, to balance your feelings, to get more intuition, to be ready or to increment the love you feel and receive, and these types of energies. On the other hand, if you don't take care of your fountain, you may feel exactly the opposite of these, like unbalance, troubled emotions, lack of love to receive or to give, lack of intuition, and things like that. And the salamanders of fire, they live in the fire. Volcanoes are perfect for them, and of course you're not going to have a volcano inside your house, and you're not going to set your house on fire, although I want to set some houses on fire, but I can't. So what can you do? Depending on where you live, you can have a fireplace, a hearth, or you can simply have candles, and candles you can put anywhere safe and invite the salamanders of fire. So for example, I have a specific area where I lit candles safely. I can leave them burning for the whole night with no problem. You can do the same. And when you light the candle, sometimes you will see some sparks which should not be there. And these sparks are actually the salamanders showing themselves up or saying we are here. And what do the salamanders of fire bring? Power, protection, energy. So when you welcome them into your house, you get this for free. You automatically get these properties for you. But if you don't take care of your fireplace or your candle's altar or your personal volcano, you may feel the lack of power. You may feel that your house is unprotected. You may feel that you don't have energies to fight things you need to fight. So this is everything you need to know about the elements and the elementals and how to work with them, how to magically work with them in your daily life. If you like this video, please give your thumbs up, leave a comment below. If you have a doubt or a compliment, please write that I reply to all. Subscribe the channel for more and share this video with your friends. Thank you very much. So if you are still here, why don't you stay a little bit longer on my channel? Here you'll find a playlist with all the spells and studies I've talked about. Here a playlist with all the goddesses I've talked about. And do check here for some products you can buy with the designs I made, including a pentagram and the elementals. And here you can subscribe the channel for more. Thank you so much.